SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
Discover Covington County Hospital's swing bed program, offering comprehensive care for patients transitioning from acute hospital care to home. With a focus on rehabilitation, we ensure a smooth journey back to your home environment. Choose Covington County Hospital, where your health care matters.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. That's right.
Time for another In a Mississippi. Hey, folks. Always grateful for you tuning in. Really grateful. Love doing the show. Love the guests that I've known over the years and get to know them right in front of your very own eyes and ears. And it's just always a blessing. Superior Catfish. Love those folks over there in Macon, Mississippi, producing the catfish. There's catfish. There's Superior Catfish. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Been with me since day one. Just love those folks over there and all they do to lure people into our Mississippi and fall in love with it, with our people, our places, and our things. Can I say that? All right. Today's guest on In a Mississippi Minute is a heck of a writer, independent filmmaker, director, producer, all while maintaining a successful engineering business in Mississippi for over 30 years. He began acting and directing in theater in 2008, of course, following that passion that's always nibbling at you your whole life, and you just finally do it, which eventually snowballed into him renovating a historic building. I love this. In his hometown, of Baldwin, Mississippi, brings back a lot of memories back in the North State basketball days in the day, and turning it into a 90-seat live performance theater now called the Claude Gentry. He was the writer-producer of the 2022 film Mysterious Circumstance, the death of, I got to get this right. Help me.
Meriwether Lewis.
Okay, so I got a misspelling. Meriwether Lewis, thank you so much. A period piece set in 1809 Tennessee starring John Snyder and Evan Williams. This work earned him a Southeast Emmy nomination. His entertainment career doesn't stop with films, though. He's also a fantastic musician and singer, member of the Mississippi Junebugs, annually performing at some iconic venues across the Mid-South. He wrote a history and entertainment column for the Baldwin News for 20 years. How does he find the time? Has been the host of a few radio shows and worked in sports broadcasting as well over the years. What came first, sports or music or sports, with either one of us? To top it off, he's a proud dad and grandfather. His latest endeavor is taking on the new TV series Tallahatchie as a writer and director, and I'm honored to be interviewing him and breaking the news first right here on In a Mississippi Minute. Looking forward to talking to him about all of that and more. Right now, let's get to it with my pal. Welcome in Clark Ritchie. Hey, Clark.
Hey, Steve. I'm tired just hearing you say all of that stuff. I wonder how in the world did I go to such varied extremes over the course of my life.
And you still look young.
Well, thanks for that. I think you and I are close to the same age, so we're doing okay.
All right, we got to get Baldwin out of the way real quick. We have these conversations, and we got to have it in front of the folks. 81, 82, North State, when we did our first trips to Baldwin to play in the North State basketball championships, I'd already been going to camp with Troy Howell from Ingomar. So I knew him when he was there, and I knew his story and how great of a point guard he was. But then there was Charles Jones. East Kemper was a monster. Just unbelievable. National champion a couple years later, or a year later, whatever, at Louisville. Goes on, has an NBA career. Terry Ballard from Wheeler. Sweeney from Thrasher.
Thrasher.
What the heck's going on up in those neck of the woods when we ran into these basketball teams that were ridiculous?
Well, you know, my dad, Sam Ritchie, was a coach at Wheeler for 20 years there. And the year that you're talking about when Charles Jones came to Baldwin, it was just unbelievable, the level of competition. And I remember your team very well, too. But Thrasher beat Wheeler like 5 out of 6 times that year. But Wheeler won the state championship, beating Charles Jones in the state championship in Jackson. It was just incredibly competitive time. And, you know, when you and I first talked, it just brought back memories immediately of that time. I went to Baldwin. I was a football player. They didn't have football at Wheeler, so my brother played for my dad at Wheeler, but I played at Baldwin, played football there. So it's an interesting connection that we found.
Wow, your dad coached. I mean, really historic teams in Mississippi. If you think about that time, those guys would go off and go play at Delta State. Some of the guys, I saw them there. Amazing talent. You know, we don't have quantity in Mississippi. Our quality is always ridiculous. It makes up for the number. I've always said, you think about your dad coaching back in the day in those teams. That was amazing, an amazing time. Also, I felt like I was in the movie Hoosiers. When you came into it, you felt basketball. That's all they did was play basketball, right? And baseball. You guys, You went to Baldwin to play football. So are they still only basketball and baseball, et cetera?
Wheeler's still only basketball and baseball. Yeah. There's a lot of schools in Prentice County that are still just basketball and baseball. Prentice County, my dad always told me that he had won state championships. There was a time in his career when he had won more state championships than he had Prentice County tournaments. And it was true. Absolutely true.
Gosh, that's just crazy. What was his philosophy, you think? And what made it work?
When he retired, he was the winningest boys coach in Mississippi history at that time. He had won 5 state championships. But what he did is he developed a style of just constant pressure and fast break entirely. It was in an era where there was a lot of slowdown. There was a lot of meticulous coaching going on. He would basically take a guy like Terry Ballard, who you mentioned, who played for him, and he would get the rebound. He'd just turn around and he'd have guards going down the court, and he threw it down there, and he just put constant pressure on the other team, and that was his philosophy. And he did quite well with it, you know.
Well, are you kidding? First one's down on offense, first one's down on defense. I mean, that's a good philosophy. I was a 3-point shooter when it didn't count. So I drove my coach, bless his heart, crazy. I wrote a song called The Coach because I was asking for forgiveness, you know. And then when I went to Delta State and we played intramurals, they started counting as threes and they added up. Yeah. But I was, as they say, before my time, and my son Adrian got to relive that at St. Joe. He was always the MVP, always all Delta, all region, all that stuff, and those threes counted. And he would have been, I would not have been what your dad wanted to coach. He would have been what your dad wanted to coach. I made sure that Adrian took care of my imperfections.
There you go. You would have had 50% more points had you played today.
Oh my gosh. I saw a 3 that counted as 2 before a layup. So I drove my coach crazy. All right.
You're like a Delta version of Pete Maravich, right?
Yeah, whatever. All right. Okay. So what about your football time there before we get through this segment? Tell me about your career.
I signed an SEC scholarship with Ole Miss and played over there a year. Didn't quite work out for me at Ole Miss. I transferred. I ended up playing at Tennessee Tech University in Cookeville, Tennessee. So I had a good career up there and finished. And that's where I was converted to engineering from my broadcast journalism was what I was majoring in when I first came out of school, and I was at Ole Miss. So I went to Tennessee Tech and I transferred into engineering, got my engineering degree and master's degree up there, and my son just finished playing football at Tennessee Tech this past year.
He's following are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So position-wise, what did you play?
I was an offensive guard. He was a quarterback. So he enjoyed a little bit more of the glory than I did.
Yeah.
I worked for a living my whole way through.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you did. Are you kidding? Hey, listen, you're pretty dang valuable in the NFL right now. And in college.
I guess so.
I mean, you guys are getting paid now for holding down the fort.
I used to be big, Steve, my size of 6'2", about 255, used to be a big player. That's not a very big player anymore. I couldn't play fullback at that size.
I bet you could move mountains, though. Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. That's huge. And so your son is a tall kid?
Yeah, he's 6'3", about 200. But he's finished up. He's going to law school at Mississippi College now.
Oh, wow.
That's my fourth son.
All your kids play college ball?
No, my oldest played baseball at Samford University.
Sure, in Birmingham.
And my fourth one played football at Tennessee Tech University. The other two, they went to school.
That's awesome. Man, don't you love it? There's nothing better than your kids going off. You think about your dad coaching you guys and your brother and your family and watching all that and all the generations that he has affected and in such a positive way. And that carries on with you. Let's take a quick break. We haven't talked anything about this Tallahatchie thing, which I'm about to dig into. Clark Ritchie, my guest, so talented, great guy. Speaking of great, Superior Catfish, it is fantastic. Go to superiorcatfish.com. Clark can have it delivered to his house if you go to store.superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. We're the birthplace of America's music. Talking tourism 101. That's what Clark did with his theater there. And we're going to talk about his series coming Tallahatchie into the break, after the break. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
The best made to order.
Rolling into a Mississippi Minute. I've totally thrown my guest today, Clark Ritchie, curveballs, but we've gotten to know him. I already understand him, and I understand why he can do so many things and get it done so perfectly. Before we get there, Perfect Catfish. It's homegrown and made in Mississippi and produced right there. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. We're hanging out with something that's going to be an impact and going to bring people into Mississippi. Before we talk about Tallahatchie, I want to know about this theater. I love the size of it. I love what you've done. I want to know what your inspiration was for, obviously you're into theatrics and the theater world and acting and all that, but what got you to finally move the needle?
Well, Steve, the theater, I live in a town, as we've mentioned, Baldwin, Mississippi. I've lived there my whole life. I was actually born there when they had a hospital. And sort of my goal in life, I set my engineering office up there on Main Street in Baldwin in our historic district. At the time I did that in 1996, there were probably 3 or 4 operating businesses on that 4-block area there. So I just had it in mind that I wanted to impact the place I live. This may sound, a little too goody two-shoes, but I did. I wanted to make a good impact on the place that I live. So I said, I'm going to do some good things here. And so I used my own interests, which were entertainment and music and sports and whatever, to say, well, what can I do with my interests? And I moved out of my original engineering office, and an author and a historian that lived there in the town named Claude Gentry, he had passed away. So I decided I'm going to set this thing up as a theatrical. I would go to Tupelo and I would act in plays. I'd go to Ripley and act in plays. I enjoyed that kind of thing. And I said, I'm going to set something up right here in downtown Baldwin. And, I was blessed to be able to do that. I drew it up. I had the engineering skills, had the construction guys, on my engineering company that could help me out with it, design guys and maintenance guys that could come up and do it. And we just designed a nice little 90-seat venue, which has been used then since 2014, 2013, I think, probably 2013 it was completed. And it's been used for community theater, for music shows, for radio shows ever since then. Still used today, obviously.
Wow. Okay, so you take these skill sets that you went and learned, and I love the fact that you turned it into one of these passions that you had. I know you were into sports, and I always talk about how sports helped me especially the times when it didn't work out, because there were more times it didn't work out than it did in sports. We getting all the way there. If you finish second or finish 50th, if you don't finish first, it doesn't feel good because you get close.
That's a Ricky Bobby. That's the Ricky Bobby mentality.
That is Ricky Bobby.
Last.
That's right. I love Ricky Bobby. All right, but for you, were you itching the whole time? Was this a scratch that was going on when you were buckling down and getting down on the line? Or, were you thinking about this from the wonder years when you were a child?
I've always been interested in entertainment, music, and that kind of, just creative, anything creative, Steve. And I imagine I'm talking to a kindred spirit on that. Anything creative I had an interest in. And so I just have tried to manifest something from those various interests, whether it be sport. You mentioned sports. I started a company called Mississippi Select Sports. We started doing USSSA baseball tournaments across Mississippi. My brother still runs Richie Sports. He operates tournaments at Oxford's, used to be FNC Park. I can't call the name right now, but we've been involved in youth sports across Mississippi, baseball especially, for a long time. A friend of mine from New Albany and I, Sam Creekmore, started the Cotton States Baseball League, which he still operates there in New Albany, Mississippi. So, and most all of my kids played baseball. They all played baseball.
I love baseball.
Baseball is a sport that to fail only 70% of the time is tremendous. If you only fail 70% of the time. So, what you said about just having that sense to keep going, baseball trains you to do that, because if you get 3 hits out of 10, you're
pretty good.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you're pretty dang good. I want to tell you, John Bond was texting me the other day, the old number 13 from Mississippi State. He was texting his son Parker, who's on the way up now. And I said, how's it going, the tournament? And he goes, I think they were in Vicksburg, And he said, Parker just hit a grand slam. And we ended up winning by 1 right after that. And I said, man, I go, what did it feel like? He goes, better than anything I ever did. And better than beating Bama. You think about that when you're watching these kids. So baseball, obviously, I was a catcher my whole life. My listeners know that. And I was nowhere near any other position. I lived being behind the plate. I had a lot of the mothers from the other team always chatting at me in my ear, not nice. I got to tell you, there were some tough ones. And I was just used to it, cleaning. Anyway, we could talk about how dirty my plate was, sunflower seeds, you name it, it was loaded. The ump behind me going, gosh, dog it, But the times. Okay, I want to talk about your Emmy-nominated first deal with John Schneider, obviously Dukes of Hazzard, right?
Right.
So let's talk about how all of that came about.
Well,
because that's a big endeavor.
Again, it was a very big endeavor. Again, a intersection of my interests, history, entertainment, everything came together. I wrote during COVID, I wrote a movie. I've written several, but I've actually taken one all the way, and this is the first one. And it was called Mysterious Circumstance, The Death of Meriwether Lewis. When I used to go to school at Tennessee Tech, I would drive up the Natchez Trace, and I would see the death side of Meriwether Lewis. And I wondered for many years, I guess it just never registered to me that Meriwether Lewis was Lewis of Lewis and Clark. And he's buried there along the Natchez Trace in Tennessee. And so that always intrigued me later on, that what in the world was Lewis of Lewis and Clark doing in Tennessee? So I found out that he died under very suspicious circumstances in 1809, and I thought that would make a good subject for a movie. So I wrote the film and got some other folks interested in it. We went over to Tishomingo State Park, and the way I wrote the movie was the way I could accomplish it. It all happened in one place, in the wilderness, one cabin. I found a historic cabin over there. We made all kinds of deals and gathered up a production crew, gathered up the money to make it, and just made it in Tishomingo County, Mississippi. And the first day I ever directed a film, Steve, I had John Schneider, Bo Duke, wearing buckskins on a horse, riding up from the Tenton Waterway just as fast as he could on that horse, jumping off and walking up to a remote cabin in the woods. That's the first day I ever directed.
Okay, so I'm gonna give sports, and you're rearing up, understanding how to lead, I'm going to give that that's what led you into being able to direct John Snyder on that first scene and all the way to the last scene. I feel like there's this synergy and there's a common thread that runs between sports and what we do creatively. And it's just being competitive, but also knowing how to communicate with people. It's really important. You know what I mean? I think that's what we learned growing up in sports and being a team member. You can be a leader and a team member all at once as well. You can be leader of the band, but yet be a bandmate. And you just got to know how to do that. But I feel like that you were preparing yourself and everything else you ever did, your engineering, leading the way, all that, to this moment. So directing was something you were already doing with everything else in your life.
It's funny that you say that. It really is sort of this compilation of all your experiences come together. I've told so many people that operating an engineering and fabrication company for 25 years prepares you to direct a film. As you mentioned, sports, it's very much a part of it. How to work with others, how to communicate with others to get somebody to do what you need them to do, to get everybody on the team going in the same direction.
Amazing.
That's really amazing. It all just works together, and it's amazing how, I found project management and analytical skills of engineering and that kind of thing also to apply. You schedule it. We have a very small budget, a very small staff, and yet we're trying to produce a movie that matches anything.
Yeah, well, you can do that in Mississippi. Yeah, I want to talk about that on the other side of the break as well. And we're going to talk about your next endeavor, Tallahatchie, which is going to be just awesome. Stand by. Clark Ritchie's my guest today. Superior Catfish allows me to be their guest. I've been there twice, and it's spectacular how much love they put in their catfish. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Plan a road trip.
$20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
From the SeabrookPaint.com Weather Center, I'm Bob Sullender. For all your paint and coating needs, go to SeabrookPaint.com. Today, a 60% chance of rain, high near 95. Tonight, a 60% chance of showers, low around 76. Your finally Friday, an 80% chance of rain, high near 92. And a look to Saturday, a 60% chance of showers, partly sunny, high near 91. This weather is service of our friends at Delta Auto on Highway 51 in Canton. If the engine is a diesel, meow, it's Delta. Delta Auto, Highway 51 in Canton.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
Since 1871, Gaddis McLaurin Mercantile in downtown Bolton has been providing everything you need. Everything for your house, fencing, plumbing, flowers, lumber. Everything for your animals, dogs, cats, birds, chickens, cows, horses, and everything for your patio and yard. Bayou Classic cookers, wind chimes, Orca and Pelican coolers. We have most everything. 150 years of serving the community, family owned and operated. Gaddis McLaurin Mercantile, downtown Bolton since 1871. We'll see you soon.
Hey, I'm here with Alex Murray of Auto Innovation.
At Auto Innovation, we want to change your car buying experience. When you're in the market for a quality pre-owned vehicle, please come see us. We want to make friends, not just customers. All eligible vehicles are inspected by a Master Tech mechanic and come with a limited powertrain warranty on us. We are located on Highway 51 in Ridgeland. Come by and see us or check out our inventory online at autoinnovation.net. Let us change your car buying experience.
Auto Innovation, Highway 51 in Ridgeland.
You're listening to SuperTalk News. I'm Ben Milam. One of Mississippi's U.S. Senate seats will be on the ballot next year. Republican Cindy Hyde-Smith will seek a third full term, but already has competition from independent Ty Pinkins. Democrats are also thinking this could be a winnable seat for them. Mississippi House Minority Leader Robert Johnson says his party already has someone in mind to challenge Hyde-Smith and unseat her.
We're working on some people. Viable candidate, one that has extensive experience, has done great public service work, and so we're looking to put him out there. No formal announcement has been made, but he is a prosecutor, a district attorney, and he has a vast amount of experience.
Some behind-the-scenes reports say Lowndes County District Attorney Scott Colomb could be Hyde-Smith's Democratic challenger.
This month, get ready for an explosion of cash at Pearl River Resorts. Join us on Fridays and Saturdays from 7 to 11 p.m. as we draw one lucky winner every hour. This is your shot at up to $2,500 in cash. Spin the wheel to reveal a big prize and start your summer winning streak at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Must be 21 or older to play.
Superior. It's more than a name. It's a promise that we make to our customers to provide you the highest quality U.S. farm-raised catfish at your favorite restaurant, your family reunion, or on your dinner table. Hey, this is Steve Azar, and I want to let you know that with Superior Catfish, you know the next bite is as good as the first, time after time. Made possible by your friends and neighbors here in Mississippi. Remember, there's catfish, then there is Superior Catfish.
Whether you're a Rebel, a Bulldog, a Golden Eagle, or just a sports fan, SuperTalk Mississippi has got a podcast for you. Sports Talk Mississippi, the Rebel Report, Thunder and Lightning, the SuperTalk Eagle Hour are all now available for you. And it's all free. Get them all on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for SuperTalk on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Yeah, I've been down. I've been beaten. I've been cheated. You see it in the way I
Roll into a Mississippi Minute. Got Clark Ritchie on the horn. Superior Catfish always allows me to have fine folks like Clark on. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Love you guys over there. Thank you for all you do. Clark has already been part of the fabric of Mississippi, restoring an old theater there in Baldwin, Mississippi, his hometown, and forever changing a lot that goes on and making an economic impact. I can tell you, using the arts. Listen, Mississippi, we have our athletes, our natural resources, our athletes, our agriculture, and our arts. They're so magical. They've changed the world. We've moved the world, moved mountains. Clark, now let's talk about this series, Tallahatchie, that I get to be a part of. I am moved beyond belief. I want you to know when I see something like this, I get excited. You heard the excitement in my voice, but I'm going to let you take it from here and let's spill the news.
Well, this is the announcement of the series. So we're doing a series, an 8-episode docu-series for Mississippi Public Broadcasting on the history and importance of the Tallahatchie River region of Mississippi.
Wow.
The things you just mentioned, arts, sports, and agriculture, they are the keys to Mississippi. And they are what make Mississippi important. Now, industry has arrived now, so it's a fourth element of our success. Mm-hmm. But for generations, for centuries, it's been those things: arts and sports and agriculture. And Steve, I I've always been a big history person. You mentioned that I wrote history columns for my local paper there in Baldwin. I've been involved in history, wrote movies about history, and on and on. But the history, I contended, and I made this proposal to a group called the Tallahatchie River Authority. They are the 8 counties in which the Tallahatchie River flows.
Okay.
I made a pitch to them, and I told them that my position was that the Tallahatchie River region of Mississippi is a microcosm of American history. You have everything that's important about being an American and about this country has occurred, about being creative in this country, about being successful in this country has occurred there. Everything from the Chickasaw Indian days, the Trail of Tears occurred. You have this frontier, wild, wild west adventure time period that happened. You have the Civil War, then followed that. You move on to Reconstruction, civil rights, and up into modern day where you've got all these sports figures and musicians rising up out of this region. If you look across the region, Steve, and I know you know this because you're the cultural ambassador of Mississippi, if you look across that region, you see that Charlie Pride's from there, that Sam Cooke's from there, that Robert Johnson has a story there, that it's William Faulkner. Everything is right there. And, of course, it's in your song, too, One Mississippi.
Yeah. I mean, when I was writing One Mississippi, it fell out. I mean, it was all the experiences that I had. It was originally for the official bicentennial song before it became the state song. But, Clark, I'm telling you, if you ever creatively had a moment where it was on the drive home and it literally wrote itself, and when I stepped to grab the guitar when I got home, it all went, there was not one edit. There was not one, maybe, I can't explain it. It's the only time in my life that ever happened. You know, I've never experienced a song that just wrote itself, but it was all my time that I grew up playing in Baldwin, losing in Baldwin, you know, sitting on the bench in Baldwin a lot. But the bottom line was those days touring around the state playing tennis and baseball and football and basketball, all that stuff that we did sports-wise, and playing music as well. I got to know everybody from all these nooks and played everybody's prom, I think, in the state just about.
Right.
And as a kid. And so I got to understand every little area, and because I'd been there so many times and appreciated it. And obviously we're bookended by a mighty Mississippi and a Gulf Coast, you know, and the waters, the Gulf. And that's pretty amazing as well.
Right.
So when you're creating this and you're looking at an 8-part series, how are you dividing up each series?
Well, that's part of the way I propose this project is, you know, you have these various stories. You have the story of Charlie Pride. You have the story of Bobby Gentry, Ode to Billy Joe, which made Tallahatchie a globally recognized body of water because of her song, Ode to Billy Joe. You have the tragedy of Emmett Till. You have the James Meredith's integration of Ole Miss. You have all these various things that happen, and each one of them its own very important story. But my concept for this television show is that it's one story. It's one continuous story. And it's the story of this river. I was a big fan of the TV series Centennial when I was a kid. I can't call the year that story came out, but it was a story of a town and a place and the families of that town and how it went through time and all the important things that the past affected the future. And it was a very compelling miniseries in its day. And that's always sort of stuck with me. And so I think that's influenced my view of this Tallahatchie story is that Archie Manning playing at Ole Miss and restoring some pride at the university in the 70s is somehow connected to the Chickasaw Trail from Tupelo to Memphis that Meriwether Lewis rode down on his last journey. You know, it's all connected, and that's what I'm going to try to pull out in this series. And as you well know, music is a huge part of it. The sound of this place is a huge part of it. And
I love how you say
really
that.
Appreciate
the sound
your
of this
participation.
Well, are you kidding me? I'm grateful. The sound of this place. I love that you said that. There's something about it that if it's as quiet as it can be, there's still a sound.
Yep.
There's something reverberates in us, and it's who we are. It's been world changing, and I'm glad Mississippi, when Haley Barbour became governor, he took it. He really took on saying it's time for Mississippi to become the birthplace of it all. We got to take claim, because Texas has done such a great job. I always talk about that. A lot of my Texas friends, they can make a huge living inside the confounds, inside the state lines of Texas. They never have to leave, and they can have a big career. Obviously, there's a zillion people in Texas. You got big cities, and that lends itself to opportunity for people to come out. And you're dealing with small towns. A 90-seat theater, you still have to make sure you pack those 90 seats. It's never easy. I mean, if you got 1,000 or 90 or the B-pack, whatever it's got, 1,800, it's just never easy, because we don't have a ton of people. So you got to hope that people will come out, and then that's what Visit Mississippi does. Obviously, tourism a big part of this.
Tourism. I mean, the Tallahatchie River Authority's impetus for doing this project is they want to generate historic tourism to Mississippi, to this region, and my proposal to them is to do it by telling the important stories, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, okay. So when are we starting this endeavor, by the way?
We expect to start filming the last week of September, and we'll film through October and maybe into the first week of November. We'll be filming from Ripley to Greenwood. And I will also say this to you, Steve. I'm very interested in Yazoo, in Tombigbee.
So this could be the beginning the beginning of a lot.
It could be. I would love to do more, for sure. But, we got to get this one under our belt and make sure that it's, that it's the quality level that we certainly hope that it will be picked up by national PBS. It will definitely be distributed by national PBS, but we would hope that it could be picked up by, a national distribution and global distribution through PBS. But Mississippi Public Broadcasting has been very, very supportive of us in this, and so we're happy for it to air there, and look forward to working with them on it.
They'll set the stage. They'll be the springboard. They know how to do it. They're great folks over there. Let's take a quick break. Clark Ritchie's my guest. Tallahatchie, the 8-part series coming soon to PBS in Mississippi Public Broadcasting and beyond. Let me get that right. Superior Catfish can come right to your house. Go to store.superiorcatfish.com. It's on your skillet in no time. Make it black iron, please. And visit Mississippi.org. This is how Mississippi gets to extend its invitation to the world with creative folks like my guest today, Clark Ritchie, giving a day. I like that. We'll be right back.
This is my last cigarette. Starting today, I'm gonna turn this body around. Catch that rainbow I've been chasing that. It's alright, I'll be okay. Starting today, I'll be okay. Starting today.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
From the time you were a little girl, I watched you playing by the river, running through the cotton fields, growing up way too fast. lost in your own little world. You're only 15, going on 21, working on trying to skip on past. I see and know where you are.
I got a small segment left with a really good guy. Actually, he was a very big guy, and he's in great shape right now. There's linemen that get themselves out of further shape and get themselves in shape. And he was smart enough to have a quarterback at the end of the child chain in his family. Clark Ritchie's my guest today. Superior Catfish, always blessed. Thank you guys over there. Love you guys. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. We're talking Northeast Mississippi right now. We're talking Baldwin. Some of the greatest basketball I ever saw growing up as a kid. And
I got to tell you one, Steve.
Yeah.
There was a time in the SEC in the late 50s and early 60s that the head basketball coach at Ole Miss and at Mississippi State were both from Baldwin, Mississippi.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on up there?
Cotton Graham and Babe McCarthy, both Baldwin, Mississippi.
I mean, come on. I mean,
Country Graham and Babe McCarthy, both from Baldwin, Mississippi.
I love that. I got to tell you something. I'm interrupting. Go ahead and say what you just said.
I'm just saying we got two historic markers on Main Street. Baldwin is basketball. It's always been basketball.
I'm not arguing with that. I saw it firsthand.
It's still basketball. Even today, it's still basketball.
Okay, so my co-publisher, when I started having hits in Nashville on myself, was from Weiner, Arkansas. His name's Mark Allen Springer. Mark Allen Springer's first big monster was Two Sparrows and a Hurricane. Changed his life. It reinvigorated Tanya Tucker's career. And and then I remember riding through Memphis. I was just signed my publishing deal there, and I was heading to Nashville, and I heard it for the first time on the radio. I didn't know Mark Allen yet. And basketball brought us together. He was Mr. Arkansas in the class in 77. He played at guard at UCA in front of Pippen. And I made him take me to Weiner, Arkansas. He said, it's a basketball mecca. I said, man, there ain't no mecca. That's in Baldwin. That's in Wheeler, Thrasher, Ingomar. He goes, I'm telling you, there's not a Weiner, Arkansas. There's no such thing. So I made him take me. I saw the little sign. Right. And that's where he said we were basketball up in that part of past Jonesboro. You know, they had great basketball.
It's always amazed me that a little town of 3,500 people had two SEC basketball coaches at our two major universities for like a decade. You know, it's amazing.
You can't even rationalize it.
No.
It seems like you got to go off and have John Wooden work with you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, how does that happen? And where does this philosophy come from to be that good and be that unique to be able to be an SEC coach, both of them at the same time? That's insane to me. And your dad.
That's what and my dad also is a great example. You know, that's one thing that I think is flows into this Tallahatchie TV series is you have these great people, and that's one of the reasons I was interested in this series and I proposed it, is that you have these great people that rise up above what should be normal, what should be expected, yet they do. And they come out of this region of the country. I mean, this is a birthplace of Mississippi music, but this is a birthplace of a lot of other things. You know, the great sports characters that have come from Mississippi. I mean, you just look at the top guys of the Mannings and Jerry Rice and on and on and on.
Walter Payton and
it's just tremendous. What Mississippi's produced in sports and in literature and music especially.
It's something in the water, as they say. It's got to be
the water of the Tallahatchie. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's where we're starting right now. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. You better have a lot of years left in you because you got a lot going on in that mind of yours that wants to come out. Well, hey, you have a blessed one. I can't thank you enough for taking a Mississippi Minute with me. I'm so proud of everything that you've accomplished. And I've loved getting to know you through and just hearing the stories of your dad and the history he has made in Mississippi basketball and sports and what you're doing now for Mississippi in general. I think Tallahatchie is just going to be a huge success.
I appreciate that, Steve, and I certainly look forward to working with you.
Oh, I'm all in. I'm all in.
I know.
It's going to be fun. Everybody, folks, Clark Ritchie, Six Shooter Studios, Tallahatchie. We'll be out on MPB and beyond. Superior Catfish, that's what we're talking about. Go to superiorcatfish.com. Love you guys over there in Macon, Mississippi. Great. You guys are great. And visit Mississippi.org. Shining for sure today because of folks like Clark making a difference and bringing folks into our Mississippi and celebrating who we are. I'm Steve Azar. Later on.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
You know that nowadays, most people go online to look at a business before they spend their money. What if the online information about your business is incorrect, or even worse, not very flattering? If your online presence isn't great, you may be losing customers. STMM Digital's trusted and highly trained team is the answer. We're ready to work with you to help your business capitalize on the power of digital marketing. Call 601-991-2305 or go to stmmdigital.com to get started today. Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now. A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.